This is part 2 of the previous video that you might have saw. This is how to reassemble the Eastsheen 4x4 once you've taken it apart, or once it's fallen apart on you when you were unexpecting it. When you weren't expecting it. I don't know if unexpecting is a word. Probably not. So what you should have is a core, a pile of these pieces, a pile of pegs, a pile of the duckbill, 8 corner pieces, 6 sets of 4 center caps, and then the edge pieces. Okay, so then also what you'll need, let me set this up here, is you'll need some sort of thing to place the core in. People say that's the only good use for a Rubik's Revolution, which I would agree because I didn't waste my money to buy it. But I'm going to use my 3x4x5. What you need is something with a hole in it. So since I made it out of Diansheng, I can just take that off and then put it back. Now I have a little hole in it, which I can rest the core in. You're just going to need something that you can do that with, that all of the arms, the side arms of the core, will allow you to work on with that in there. So once you have something like that, use the Rubik's Revolution, use the 3x4x5, or whatever you can think of. Some people use a CD in a little bowl, or anything you can think of. You have to be a little creative on that. So once you get to this stage, you want to put the square in the top, the little inside square. Just a little fact about the square is that's what all the parts turn around. This is what keeps the parts against the core rather than all jumbled up inside. So first, the basic thing for the inside core is you will need 2 of these little pieces and 1 of these duckbill pieces. And so then on your cube, you want to take 1 of these pieces, one of these weird ones right here, and you're going to want to set it in like this. I can't do it with one hand. You want to set it in. See how it interlocks in the top there? See how it interlocks back there? That's what you're going to want it to look like. And you're going to want to do the same with the second piece on the other side. And this is, putting these pieces together is quite annoying. Then you're going to want to take your duckbill piece with the opening facing out towards you and slide it in there. And when you're done, that is what one connection of the core will look like. 2 of these little pieces here, and then 1 duckbill piece there. And you're going to want to do that for all 4 sides. Once you have all 4 of those done, you're going to want to start building the top layer. So you're going to want to do you're going to want to start putting in the second layer, like I just said a quarter of a second ago. So first, what you want to do is find the edge pieces that you're going to want to put in. I'll just make the top layer black for now. So I know that this pair right here will not have black on it. So I'm going to say that it's blue and red. You're just going to set it there. And it may fall out a little bit like that, and that's okay. Then since you have red on the side and blue on the front, you know that there's also going to be blue on the front and then orange on the side. So you're going to want to find the correct piece for the other side and put it in like that. Then once you've done that, you want to find the pegs that you're going to use and put them in the correct way. And then after you've done that, this thing is very floppy. After you've put that in, you're going to want to build your little section of the core here, the same way as you did the rest. That piece. This piece, and then 1 of these again. Then you can put your peg in, your other peg, and then your 2 edge pieces. Then you can move on to your next side. Build your center part of the core. Actually, just leave the edges out for now. We'll be able to put them in a bit. And once you have that done with a peg and 2 centers, you can just drop in the edge piece. And then once you've done that, you will have 4 edge pieces that are correct all the way around. You'll have 2 little pegs between each one, and you'll have the center of the core built. Then what you want to do is just put the corners on each side. I'm not exactly sure where the corners are going to go, so it may take me a little bit. As it turns out, I've made it so the yellow side is on the top, not the black. So excuse me for saying that earlier. And once you've put your corners on, I should say, that is when you start to put the 2 edge pieces that go here. So as you can see, that's green and yellow there. So I'm going to need to put green and yellow pieces in there. Make sure you get the correct color on top of the piece with the notch facing the inside. And all you have to do is push the corner and pop it in like that. And you want to do that for all 4 sides. Top if you followed my directions. But I forgot to tell you to put the pegs in these little spots. So let's see if you can just push them in. Which in fact you can. So you're going to want to push each of the pegs in so they look like that when they're done. You're going to want to do that with all 4 of the pegs. Make sure that this little notch right here, see how it's kind of lopsided? You're going to want to make sure this notch in the base of the piece is pointing towards the core. You may have a bit of trouble if you didn't put these in first. Just pull the edge out a bit and feed it in there. If I can even do that. Yeah. On second thought, just take out the edge piece. Feed in the peg, and then put your edge piece back in. You're going to want to do that with all 4 of the top layer pegs. Make sure it doesn't all crumble in your hands, because then you'll have to start over again. Wow, I'm smooth. So if this happens, you just want to put the duckbill in one of the spots, push it in at the bottom, and then feed the edges back in. Now once you have all 4 pegs on the top, as well as the first 2 layers, you can, if you really want to, put in the top center pieces, but I don't think you need to. Now once you've done this, you don't need your base anymore, this base, so you can take the whole thing out and very carefully flip it over and set it down. Remove your base. And now you'll have the bottom half of your Eastsheen 4x4 completed. I probably put a bunch of this video into time-lapse spots that you didn't need to see,